So my name is Professor X, and I've put this video together to give a better description for the advantages of inquiry-based learning. And so from this, I'll be able to reflect back on my experiences as a teacher with being primarily in a teacher-focused method of teaching, and we'll talk about how there's many failures that go along with that, and how since then I've transitioned to the inquiry-based learning being student-focused method of teaching. So, for example, here's an example of me in a classroom in my previous teaching method of teacher-centered.
So, as I was saying earlier, the kinematic equations are going to be very important for us to understanding Newton's laws and how they're going to apply in real-world scenarios. And we've gone over this for the last 2 weeks, and I don't want to spend another week going over this, so I'm going to give you one last chance and to really understand what this material is about. The kinematic equations, as I've said so many times before, they're going to assume constant acceleration here, as the acceleration is listed throughout Newton's laws. We have it primarily in the second Newton's laws, and so from the constant acceleration we can determine using calculus what the kinematic equations are, and those are the 3 kinematic equations. I'm surprised that you guys did not remember those very well last time, but let's remember now. What is the second kinematic equation that I've listed? Can anyone raise their hand and repeat what's listed here?
Mass curve.
Is there anyone in the class willing to participate and describe to me how Newton's second law is used to determine the third kinematic equation?
What?
So we've described Newton's laws and we've gone over the kinematic equations, and I'm expecting that we're all going to be able to perform really well in this next test of recalling exactly what the 3 Newton's laws and kinematic equations are. I'm over it. Just get out.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot my phone.
See you later.
Oh, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm going to lose my
It was
hair.
infuriating, as you can tell. The kids weren't paying attention to my teacher-centered learning teaching experience. So instead, I transitioned and I went looking for what would be a better way to reach these students. And from looking around, I found a quote online that was saying something along the lines of, "Tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, but teach me or involve me and I will understand," it goes. So since then, I've opened my eyes to using this inquiry-based learning experience. And the inquiry-based learning experience teaching method, it begins with starting the classroom with an open-ended question. So here's an example of me giving an open-ended question. Here are 2 balls, and I would like for you guys in the class to consider which ball will fall faster. We have the heavier basketball, and we have the lighter volleyball. You might notice that yes.
Basketball?
Now tell me why.
No, it's totally the volleyball.
Now let's give him a chance to explain. Why is it that you'd expect the basketball to fall faster?
Because it's a basketball. It's heavier.
Okay. Heavier is true. Okay. And what is it about the volleyball that you
Well,
think
it's smaller, so it can go faster.
Okay. Smaller, going faster. That is true for in some situations. But let's go ahead and investigate how that might be true or might be false. So let's test your curiosity, and we'll see where we go from there. So let's go ahead and have you guys get the materials that we talked about before, and we're going to start breaking up in groups, and we'll go from there. The open-ended question doesn't have to turn into a great long discussion. We just want to provoke their interest and to get them motivated to work on the next activity, which is going to be to research and investigate.
Okay. See, Mike's gonna win.
I don't think so.
During the discuss phase, we're able to gauge how well the students were able to learn the material, were able to interact, and it gives students a chance to collaborate and communicate with each other. It gives students a chance to practice their listening and their speaking skills. This helps to meet the ELA requirements and Common Core requirements, which before, in my teacher-centered method, I've had a difficulty in meeting those requirements. But in following this inquiry-based learning experience, I'm able to meet those Common Core requirements much easier. Finally, we'll wrap up what they discussed during their presentation by tying it all together in the last phase. group discussion. Now let's try to tie back what we have discussed with what I've mentioned before in lecture. So who can relate the topics of our group discussion with some of the topics from our previous class discussions?
Well, Carrie used equation 1.
No. What makes you say that equation 1 applies?
She pushed the ball.
She pushed the ball, right? Okay. So the final reflection phase is important for giving the students a chance to tie everything back together. And it's going to be most important for the teacher to be as involved in this as little as possible, so that it's the students making the connections on their own. And this makes sure that it's a student-based learning activity. It's them putting the effort in, and it's them that are going to be receiving the greatest results from that. And so this concludes the summary for how to use inquiry-based learning